Hey guys. Hey there. I am Kate Volman.
Hey, I'm Karyn Turk.
And we are so excited for this fun Blab. As you know, we are starting to Blab every Thursday at 2 p.m. and talking about lots of things related to small business, marketing, mindset, and really just anything else that you guys want to talk about. We've been getting some good feedback from you about the topics that we've done in the past. And Karyn and I are always having very similar conversations with different business owners. So I'm kind of excited about today's topic.
You know what, today it's all about sharing, Kate, because sharing means caring. And
Caring means caring.
We were talking about, how sharing can kind of open you up to other opportunities and how you can't be afraid to share. So I know that we came up with a topic today that everybody's going to absolutely love, because I think it's something that as business owners and just personally that we all kind of struggle with is, what kind of content we should be sharing online and how does it benefit our business, and, what's appropriate to share and not share.
Yeah. And, it's really interesting because I have this conversation a lot with people on the business side of it, because everyone talks about content marketing and how that really helps people get business. And then a lot of times people are asking me, well, what kind of content do I share? How often are people actually listening? What should I, it just turns into this much bigger conversation. And, in today's world, obviously it's so easy now to connect with each other. It's so easy to share your opinions and your expertise on your business and what it is that you do, whether you do videos and blab like this, or you are writing blog articles, or just posting on Facebook or all the other social media sites. So I think this is just a relevant topic for a number of reasons. In fact, I just spoke to a friend of mine who said that he's been watching our blabs, which is so fun. And he was like, I have something to say. I talk about these issues in my business with my clients all the time. I really have something to say, but I just don't make it a priority. Like, is it really going to bring me business? And I said, you have to just start producing content. You need to either write articles and put it on LinkedIn, or do videos and share them online. And you may not get feedback. Like Karyn, you and I started doing these and we weren't really getting much feedback except for the couple people that were in on the call live. And then all of a sudden we're out in the community and people are like, we love your videos. I'm like,
I know.
Oh, you watch them?
And it's crazy. And like, not only that, but like, I think too, I think for me, I know I can talk personally. I've been afraid to share content. I've been in a situation where I'm like, do I share this? Do I not share this? Is this too much? Am I putting too much of myself personally out there? And I think my advice is really to put it out there and then kind of see what happens with it and face the consequences if you're not 100% right. Because it's better to put something out there than put nothing out there. Because if you put nothing out there, then you're not visible at all. And then nobody really cares what you have to say. At least if you're putting something out there, people care what you have to say. And then you have kind of a platform and you can always apologize later. So, you put something out there and it may not be perfect. Well, you just go ahead and you kind of, clean up afterwards. I mean,
it's so funny you say that, because it's like you clean up afterwards, but it's almost like, look, anything that you do, people are going to criticize you. It's not going to be good. They're going to say, how did you do? I can't believe you did that. That's so unprofessional. There's all of these different things that people are always going to have an opinion, but those people don't usually matter. It's the people that you created the message for that matters. And if it resonated with them and they got something from it and they thanked you for it, and everyone has this passion, or they really want to share something and they feel so compelled to do it and they're scared to get it out. Well, if you feel that way about it, and you're that strongly about it, if you put it out there, chances are other people feel that same way. And Karyn, we use your example.
I was going to say, are you going to go there? Because I'm totally
but let me just preface it, because I got to see this behind the scenes when you were calling me and we were having this conversation about your situation, and then you called me probably 3 times and said, I just need to do a video. I need to post a video and just make it real, and just do it. And I'm like, okay, do it. And then you had asked me a couple more times. So it wasn't, you put it out there really fiercely, but there was a behind the scenes, of contemplating whether or not you were going to do it.
There's still some behind the scenes. I may have to answer to somebody down the road for that, but I'm completely willing to take on the challenge. And like the bottom line is, it didn't hit me how impactful it was and how important it was, as much as it really was a personal message more than it was a business in this one particular instance. But you could use this to talk about how important it is to get your message out business. It translates all the same. And the bottom line is I had something that I was passionate about, that I felt strongly about, that I felt like I have something to say. And if it's going to help one person, I'm going to do it, because I feel like this is eating at me and I need to just put it out there and see what the universe provides. And what was so cool about it is when I talked about it, when I kind of liberated myself and made this video, I had 3,400 people watch that in the course of one day. I've never had 3,400 people watch anything that I've done, at least not knowledge, but maybe there might be something floating around there that might come out later. Only kidding. But I'm just saying, it was it was amazing to me that there were 3,400 people that were actually interested in what I had to say. And then to have that video then be shared, I think it was a total of about 1,300 times. Obviously, I knew that my message conveyed. So,
and the message, what was your message? So people that are watching, if they're wondering,
my message was I dealt with the situation personally, which was kind of a personal attack on me. As I become more public and I put myself out there, there are a lot of people that may have something to say. And, it hasn't been easy. This is going to sound like really ridiculous, but it hasn't been easy being Mrs. Wellington.
It's really hard to wear my crown around town.
It's difficult to wear a crown and be a pageant queen. But there have been some people that are just bottom line, you're going to deal with people who either come from a positive place in your life, or you're going to deal with people who come from a negative place. And unfortunately, we are all met with these people on a daily basis, whether it be in business or personally. Every day, walking through a parking lot, you're going to meet people who are either going to be people who are positive, who are looking to better their life, who are looking to make a difference, or you're going to meet people who are stuck in their miserable well-being, being miserable and wanting to kind of attack people that may have, as they perceive, more than they do for whatever reason. And for some reason, they feel entitled to what that person has. And you know what, quite frankly, I've worked my fucking ass off, and I still do. And I work my ass off in business, and I work my ass off personally. And unfortunately, I had somebody that just kind of wanted to find fault with that. And it was not a good situation. It was a very difficult situation for me. And I got some real scathing emails that this person felt it was appropriate to send me, basically with them telling me that, I'm going to slander your reputation, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And I said, have at it, because anything you're going to bring up, I'm going to be more than willing to talk about. So if there's any pictures that surface of me hula hooping at Hooters on Universal, in front of Universal Studios on Kirkman Road, I am more than happy to talk about when I was 22 and I looked goddamn good. And I was a Hooters waitress, but I'll put it all out there, because for me, I am my brand. My business survives every day because of the effort that I'm willing to put into it. And I think if you're passionate about what you do, you're not as afraid of the things that might come to face you. And you're not so afraid of the criticism that you might face. And
oh, no.
Hey. I'm back. So, I was saying my situation is obviously somewhat unique. I don't know if it's because I'm blonde and I have a crown, or what exactly has led to the fact that people that public will want to attack me. But I went out and I talked about it. I said, I have this person who, quite frankly, has bullied me. And I have never, until 43 years old, been in a situation where I've been bullied. And it made me very sympathetic to a lot of people out there who deal with people who are negative. But I decided, you know what, I'm going to confront it. And I put it out there, and people were sending me emails and saying, thank you so much for saying this, because I watch you on Facebook and I watch you in business, and you're such a powerhouse and I love what you do. And it was so surprising to them to hear that not only was I a victim of that, but I was willing to talk about it. And talk about it, bring it. Let me talk about it. Because it makes me who I am. It makes my brand. It makes me real. And I think being authentic and building relationships with people is what social media is about, and what building a really viable business is about. It's about letting people in to an extent where they realize your value and how you can help them.
Yeah. And I think, you hit on a lot of good points. And I think obviously we all have to think about our own brands as who we are with, I mean, in today's world, there's not a lot of separation between who you are personally and in business. And obviously people do business with those that they know and they like and they trust. And so, you know, being able to share on a professional level, your expertise and what you know, but then also connecting with people in this other way that might just make them more aware of your mentality and what you're going through and how they might have similar things in common with you. And that might be the reason they initially reach out to you, and it could turn into whether it's a friendship or even a business relationship with someone. So obviously you have to be somewhat strategic in what you're sharing and not, because it needs to be within your brand, and you don't want to just share content for the sake of sharing content. But, you know, I find that a lot of people have interesting things that they want to share and they want to say. And a lot of times it is around their specific business. You know, they deal with, whether it's an attorney who deals with divorce cases all the time, and they feel really passionate about making sure someone doesn't go through a lot of the struggles that they go through, to people in the health and fitness arena who are just completely passionate about wanting to share more for people on how they can get well and live a better life. But at the end of the day, we have to start putting it out there and not feeling, Karyn, you and I were at that
like, don't think that I wasn't afraid to do this. This is like,
right.
Like at the beginning, and even I even said to you, I said, this could be a negative for me brand wise. This could be a negative for me. But I felt like, you know what, if I don't confront it and I don't take control of it, and it comes down to, you know, when we deal with social media and you deal with putting yourself out there, you also deal with reputation management. That's a big part of marketing right now, because everything is so accessible and so public. And if I wasn't willing to kind of take this head on and say, grab the bull by the horns or grab the guy by the balls or however you want to put it, you know, you're going to be in a situation where you're not going to be in control. And I would much rather take control of my content, whatever it might be, and say, you know what, I'm going to drive this train. I'm going to drive this bus. I'm going to put this out there and then I'm going to apologize later, than not put it out there at all and allow somebody else to put something out there that maybe I am not in control of and that I can't have a platform. I'm glad I have a soapbox. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad that I have an opportunity to talk about it and say,
well, and
hey,
everybody does. And that's the thing, is that everybody does, you know, everyone does now. They can share it within their own community. You can build your own community. I was just speaking with one of the girls that we met. I don't know if you met her, but at the event that we just spoke at on Saturday, I met this woman who she's working a full-time job, but she used to be in like fitness pageants, and she's super fit, and she's also a personal trainer. And on the side, she's really trying to build this, her personal training business and health and wellness. And she said, so on Saturday, when I met her, we were talking about a couple things, and she was telling me about the stuff she wanted to do and the kinds of stuff that she wanted to talk about and the content she wanted to start sharing. And she goes, but I don't know when I should start doing it. I'm like, yesterday is when you should start doing it. Like, you have all of this information in your head that you want to share with people, that obviously you used to do fitness competitions and win them. You know how to treat your body well and get results.
You know that I think she's a rock star. So
she's a super rock star. So it was awesome, because I was telling her that, you know, never wait for it to be perfect. You have to get things out and going, and your message is going to mean something to the right people. And so she ended up, I saw her again on Sunday. No joke. The girl comes over to me, shows me, she had posted on Instagram. She finally got up her logo that she's been sitting on for months. She got up her, on Instagram, she got up her logo, and she also started drafting and writing her emails that she was going to start sending to her people. Like, how awesome is that? Like, you have to just do and like start to share the information that you have, and it's not all going to be perfect, and it's letting little bow.
You can't be, and that's the thing, is like, I think what held me back for a long time, and I'm not just talking about with that one incident, I'll talk about just branding myself in general, and, you know, branding myself from a marketing sense, you know, was the fear of like, am I doing this right? Is there a rule book that I should be reading?
Right.
Put it out there? How do I put it out there? What do I do first? And, you know, I really think you have to go with your heart. You kind of go with your gut, and nobody knows your business better than you do. And nobody knows your brand better than you do. So as long as you stay true to that brand, I think putting any content out there for the most part is good. And then, you know, again, if it's not perfect, you're going to deal with the repercussions later. although it lives in infamy, it's somewhat short-lived as far as people's attention spans. And, people are looking for the next big thing. We're stimulated by so much right now online and on a daily basis. We're bombarded with media that when you think about, well, hey, you know what? I make a mistake. Guess what? In a day or two, nobody remembers anyway.
Yeah. And I feel like not focusing on mistake, because what most people with the stuff that they want to share, it's not really like a mistake that they're making, because I mean, yours was a little bit more of a controversial topic, possibly because you were dealing with other people that could have done something with that information. But for the most part, for anybody that has a business that wants,
if you want to send me an email and you want to tell me that you're going to threaten me and then I'm the laughing stock of South Florida, like, I'm probably going to put it out there. Like, who are you? Was that a good idea? Was it a good idea to copy other people and send me that email so it was then public? Probably not. Just note to self, probably not a good idea.
Right. But like, if you want to share, if you're sharing information about your business, like I know one of my friends, he's so funny because he's always like, you don't produce enough content, create more content. It's all about content. And he writes a ton of articles on LinkedIn, and he has very specific articles that he shares his opinion, not only his opinion, but obviously he's in marketing. So he shares really great articles of the stuff that he's done with his clients, things that have worked. Not all marketers are going to agree with him and the strategies that he uses, but it's a really good lead generator for him. And he has really established himself as a leader in that industry. And so the more that you share all that knowledge and stuff that the more people are going to think of you when they do need that product or service. And so, sharing the content and information that's in your head that you talk about every day. Like, I forget when we were at that event on Saturday, when I said, hey, how many of you have read The 4-Hour Workweek, Tim Ferriss? I think everyone on the planet knows who Tim Ferriss is, because he's this amazing guy. And no, like, they didn't know who he was. Same thing with someone like a Seth Godin. I just assume, but that's my world. And not everyone's in my world.
That's the thing, is I think we too, like, and I mean, I'm in that world to an extent because I've always been in that world. And now obviously I run my husband's law practice and I do a number of different things, but I always look at things from a marketing standpoint also. That's something that we have in common and probably why we're such good friends. But I'm always constantly looking at things from a marketing perspective, like, well, how is this going to build my business, and what's the benefit to me, and how is this going to propel me to the next level, and what's the proper thing to put out there? And that, in a lot of ways, is what's held me back also, because I've sometimes, being an entrepreneur, gotten so hung up on marketing that I've lost sight of the fact that I just need to build my business. So sometimes I have to actually, as a business owner, take a step back and take my marketing hat off for a second and say, you know what, I'm going to throw caution to the winds and I'm just going to do it because it's going to give me more visibility and it's going to introduce me to more people. I mean, I'm sitting right now in a fully leased office space that I would have never thought I would have a year ago. I'm looking at taking a spot next door, and a lot of that has just been through networking and putting content out there, meeting people online, keeping in touch with people, making videos, and really letting people in a little bit so they get to know me. And you know what? If they don't like me, then we shouldn't do business together. And if they like me, well, and let's bring it on.
Exactly. I just ran that.
Fun of me for anyone. If anyone wants to make fun of me, you can make fun of me that I have abnormal eardrums where these things do not fit in my
face. Oh my gosh. I just was, I have my little women's mastermind group that I do for the Women's Foundation, and we had it yesterday, and it was so funny because we were talking to the women that I was talking to. We were talking about content, and we were talking about putting stuff out putting things out there to let people know who you are, what you do, and what good connections are for you. And a lot of times they think that we're scared to be bold and just put stuff out and share our opinions, even if it's our professional opinion. For me, I'm in marketing and I work mostly with small businesses. So my perspective of marketing is very different than some of the people that I watch and that I follow, because they're working with like huge brands with huge budgets. And so sometimes I forget that the content that I should be creating and putting out is having conversations like this and having smaller conversations around the small business owners. And that is really valuable to them. So I think sometimes we just overthink the kinds of content we could be sharing. that's really beneficial to the people, to our audience, not to like the masses.
I think that's definitely a female issue. I think women have a tendency, women in business and women in general have a tendency to overthink everything to the point of where we complicate it and make it way more than it needs to be. And one of the smartest things that somebody ever said to me, which was the stupidest thing, was keep it simple, stupid. And I worked for this woman. Her name was, I swear to you, I'm going to look her up online when we get off of this. Maybe she'll come on our Blab. But her name was Carla Page. And I worked for Carla Page when I was all of 22 years old. Probably around the same time when I was waitressing at Hooters. And I worked for an employment agency. And Carla used to say to me, number one, that I needed to tone down the jersey, which we all know has not happened. Also that, I had a tendency when I was talking to a job candidate to just make things so complicated. By the time that person would walk out of the office, like, I don't want that job. Like, I got to go, because I would just overcomplicate it and try to justify and talk a whole lot. And the more that I shut up, the better I was. And, I think that that's something to be said too, is when you put content out there, you don't want to, number one, bombard with so much that you become just redundant, but you want to keep it concise and you want to just send your message, and then you want to shut up and wait for a response. And that's something that I struggle with on a daily basis because I have a lot to say. Struggling and waiting for that response is a problem for me, but it was one of the smartest things anybody ever said to me is keep it simple, stupid. You talk too much. And I was like, yeah, I do. And I'm still working on it. If she's out there and she's listening or she's watching, I understand I still have that problem. I'm still a work in progress, but I've learned to manage it and use it to my advantage.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Yes, you do have lots to say, which is good. And you say it.
But we all do. And that's the thing, is I think as business owners, when you talk about putting out content, there are so many business owners that have a lot to say. And there's so many people that you get in front of and they want to talk about their business and they make such a great impression. And you're like, wow, and then I'll go online and I'll look for them and they're non-existent. And you're like, yeah, I met you at Polo, or I met you at a networking event. And, you really wowed me with just what you knew about your business and, how you're going to grow your business and what your business has to offer. And now I go to look for you on Facebook or on LinkedIn or, on the web, and you're nowhere to be seen, or you haven't put anything out since 2014. And it just it perplexes me, because I feel like we're all so media driven and so involved in content that if you're not putting something out there and that you're just talking the talk, you're really missing the boat in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure. And so so Karyn and I, we said in the beginning, we're doing these blabs every Thursday at 2. We're trying to keep them to a nice little half hour, short little session, but we would really love to hear some of the stuff that you are all going through, and whether it's growing your business or, another woman I spoke to, I speak to people all the time, and we talk about this all the time too.
Do you talk a lot, Kate, or no?
I don't talk ever to anyone. I'm very silent until I get on a blab with Karyn. And then I was like, let's talk.
Let's be me.
Let's talk. That's it. No, but it's so interesting to me how everyone has these ideas. I feel like as we get older, don't you find that when you were in your 20s, you just everything was whatever, I'll figure it out and everything is good. And then you get into your 30s and you're like, how did this happen?
Listen, if you're on the Blab earlier, listen to me. If you're on the Blab earlier, you would have heard that I was hula hooping in the middle of the street in front of Universal Studios.
Oh my gosh!
I wasn't really figuring it all out back then.
I was just I just remember when I used to I would be dealing with a lot of when I was in my 20s, 30s and 40s, 50-year-olds, and I just remember thinking, I'm never going to do that, or I'm never going to have those issues. And then you get older and you're like, oh yeah, no, we all go through this.
Yeah.
But we want to hear from you, because we just want to hear what you're going through in your business, in personal stuff, as far as, how that complements your business. I know some people just are really passionate about, they just want to find something that they're passionate about. Even if they don't turn that passion into a business, they just want to get involved. And Karyn can speak to that in a number of ways, especially because she's involved in every charity in South Florida.
Very passionate, Kate.
Yes, you are very passionate. And you have lots of mentors that you're very intimate with. So let us know what you guys want to talk about. And of course, we actually are going to bring on some fun guests to, so if you have specific topics that you want to hear about, we've been talking to a couple of our friends on what?
Where they want to be a guest.
Or if you want to be a guest, maybe you have something you want to share and say, and you want to come on and blab with us. We would love that. So definitely let us know. And you can find Karyn all over the web. Just Google her.
Google me. And if you see something that's questionable, just ask me about it later and I'll.
She'll do a video about it. We'll talk. We'll blab about it.
It'll be fun.
You can find her on Twitter at Karyn Turk. You can find me at Kate Volman. And then, of course, you can go to our websites, katevolman.com and karynturk.com. So fancy. But thank you guys for everything. And we will see you next time.
Awesome. Bye.